revisiting some standard favorites that I've had in the format. There's reasonable things going on in standard, even if the known top decks are pretty well established at this point. I think if you have a pretty decent core set of heuristics, you can still brew pretty reasonably in this format. Notably, I think counter spells are pretty well positioned. There's a lot of not only Sultai Ultimatum, but also the gate's very important against the cycling deck, and we have Disdainful Stroke, which tags things like Goldspan Dragon as well as Showdown of the Scald. So that's kind of like a little bit of a retuning of the blue-red flash deck that was kind of a flash in the pan at the start of the season. So we've got some black splashed in here for some hard removal at the bottom end, as well as Valki here as another bomb in the late game. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see how reasonable or not this feels here today for us. My body is ready for disappointment. Yep. I had this. I was looking back for standard decks I wanted to poke at, and I had this one sitting in my deck editor from a while ago that we never got to, and I was like, yeah, let's make some small changes to give this a try. Like, I like Grixis just as much as the next Twitch chatter. Yeah, they really did, Jake. Color shifted card images with the gradient or whatever you would refer to it as look real good. I also loaded up Magic Legends and tried it yesterday, and it ran like a slideshow on my i7 with a 2080 Super in it, so not gonna be touching that one until they patch up some of their issues there. Well, you know, lands are in here. This is a 26 lands later story. I feel like this is a 26 lands later story. Check my cardboard live now. For 12, 24, oh, 27 lands. 27 lands. Feels magic, man. I felt like we had a lot of good tools for this matchup when this game started, and then no third land probably means we're dead. This is probably too little too late. We'll take a big hit this turn. We're just not going to recover at this point. Intervention and a couple of Scorching Dragonfires. I think the Saw It Comings come out. Honestly, probably trim a Shark Typhoon here too. This is a Shadow's Verdict matchup. I feel like in these creature matchups, you just need more things that play to the board early. Valki's actually probably a better trim than Shark Typhoon, thinking on it. I don't really need this late game card advantage in the matchup like this, and I've got Behold and Mazemind for a little bit of CA still. Maybe I do just want the verdicts. Exiling their Phoenixes and their Annexes seems pretty okay. Hey, Can's right. Thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Yeah, the fact that I kind of like the idea of your abilities being kind of dynamic instead of static compared to most games like that, but the fact that your abilities come back on random buttons is a real rough thing. You gotta be super familiar with what the picture is on each of the buttons. For the people comparing Magic Legends to Arena, that's not really a fair comparison in the slightest, because Arena is a Wizards of the Coast product, and Magic Legends is not. Magic Legends is a Wizards of the Coast IP, but that's different than Wizards making the software. You are exactly correct, dude. Like, the only thing Wizards does regarding Magic Legends, they basically like look at things related to it, and they're like, yeah, that's an okay use of the Magic IP. The cutscene quality, I played a little bit, and I watched what's his name? I watched Day 9 play a little bit too, and the animation quality of the cutscenes looks like a bad mobile game. Like no joke, I think the cutscene animation quality on Magic Legends is worse than Raid Shadow Legends. I'm gonna burn a Negate on this. Also gonna go ahead and Heartless Act here. The card mechanic is novel because it introduces variance, but they compensated for the randomness by making every spell feel kind of the same. Oh, well, that's awkward. Just go ahead and like bounce this with Borrower. So like tempo you while I kill you with these adventure creatures. Thanks, Elk. It's good to have you in chat. I appreciate the support. That's true. It is beta. The quality of the cutscenes could change. I played Baldur's Gate 3 early access, and while their cutscenes weren't as atrocious as Magic Arenas, they definitely weren't ideal. So maybe the quality of the animation, the cutscenes, is something that's going to greatly improve as they iterate more. Demon Fire, thanks for the follow. Good morning. So I elected to use this to kill the Phoenix of the Ash rather than exiling it from their graveyard, because I felt like the tempo of gaining 3 life and making them spend their mana was more worthwhile than exiling it, letting them spend their mana on something else here. Yes, that's also true, dude. Light. I am a lot more forgiving to a game. Baldur's Gate monetization is what everything I want out of an RPG, whereas what was I gonna say? Were they Dead to Borrow? Not if they had like a shock or a what's the one mana not lightning bolt. So they have plenty of cards that could be interactive there. So I don't think there's any reason to like risk them having a thing and then snowballing the damage on me. Frostbite, yeah, that's the one. I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Maybe I want like one more negate. Yes, it's fine. Baldur's Gate will definitely be one that I come back to when they add more content as they get further along in their early access. They went into early access super early with only like 20% of the content in the game. And even then, my one playthrough is like 12 hours, so like good chunk of stuff, even with not only being partially done. Sure. Huh. This is greedy, but I'm gonna keep this. I think this spell is good enough in this matchup that, well, joke's on me, I guess. Alright, clearly we need a 28th land. I thought 27 with 8 scries would be sufficient, but we probably lose way more games to Screw than Flood, so playing 28 is probably just right. A lot of these kind of mid-range and controlling interactive decks in Standard I've been playing 28 in. Pretty dead at this point. Needed to be able to double spell by turn 4 usually. If you're not matching their curve out with removal, you need to be able to double spell by turn 4 to stay alive. I think I'm not on 4 Shatterskull Smashing. It's probably the answer. This is 12, 13 red technically. That's like 17 red. Anyone tried Solasta? It's not a game I've even heard of. The deck is just like a pile of playable Magic cards, Zool. That's exactly correct. Yorion green white land, you say? Some banned, so probably not an ultimatum deck. Could be an enigmatic Incarnation Brew.
You are all responsible for the damage to death. Look skyward.
It's pretty scary.
Receive the gifts of the gods.
if I have time for this. Yeah, I probably do. Play versus the draw feeling super important here. Opponent getting to get Calyx down because they were on the play with the ramp spell underneath their counter spell. I have a favorite deck in Historic. I don't.
Show me my path.
There's been a lot of neat things to play in Historic, but there definitely hasn't been a deck yet where I'm like, yeah, this is my deck. The types of mid-rangey gameplay that I typically enjoy out of Magic isn't really playable in Historic. I mean, to be fair, even Winota isn't the style of deck that I enjoy playing for the most part. Like, it's fine, it's good, but like, is it like the type of deck that like I wake up in the morning and go, yeah, that's the type of Magic deck I love? Not even close, not even a little bit. Hey, Vorsmith, thanks for the 26 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back.
The stars will light our way.
Hoping to draw like more negates at this point. Other types of counter spells. My favorite deck of all time, why is it Holly Mine? I mean, that deck was whatever. It wasn't very good at the time when we played it.
Clothis, help me.
Buying gems on mobile is capped at $20 at a setting on your end or from Wizards of the Coast. Well, if it follows every other mobile game in existence, I would compare what it costs you to buy gems on mobile versus not. Because generally speaking, there's an upcharge to spend money on mobile because the mobile app store takes a cut. Capping purchases on mobile is very common. Basically every game does it. Even Runeterra does it. Usually the ratio of what you're getting for your money is not good on mobile. It's a pretty industry standard type thing. I guess we leave that there. Goldspan Dragon ramping into bulk. It's kind of sweet.
I have strayed from my path. Foolish mortals have unbalanced our world.
Does Arena come to Xbox and PS5? I don't know if... Is that a serious question? I can't tell if that's a serious question. Because no, you usually don't put card games on console systems. They're not really a genre of game that plays well with a controller. Bringer Oh Fire, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around.
So true. You won't miss it.
I mean, to be fair, at some point they're gonna just have accumulated enough cards that like how we die isn't really going to matter. We're just gonna be completely out of resources. Feels like we're pretty good at this point. This game's not gonna end for like 80 more turns, but you like games on your TV instead of your monitor. I mean, you can hook your computer into your TV. It's a legal play. Your TV is a big monitor. I did play a giant mess of Pokemon TCG on the Game Boy Color back in the day. As a small child. Play on my monitor for a better refresh rate. Can someone explain it to me like I'm 5? Why I should care about a refresh rate? What does that actually do? Because like I'll look at like a really expensive nice thing next to a not nice thing, and they not nice thing, and they really look basically the same to me as a layman. Makes you elite pro gamer. It sounds like something that someone tells themselves really matters in order to talk themselves into spending a lot of money that they really don't need to spend. Well, you went from 1080 to 1440. Like, resolution really matters. Like, pixel density is something that matters a lot. Like, pixel density definitely makes your experience different. I'll tell you that pixel density matters. Like, that's a relevant thing. Makes it smoother and easier. I'll take your word for it. That sounds like the same type of stuff I used to hear growing up, where getting more than 60 frames per second was important. Sounds like some nonsense. Anchorage is dead to this Destiny Spinner, chat. I left a couple Heartless Acts in my deck, but yeah, just gonna go ahead and concede here. Might be a quick one for Grixis this morning. Not feeling particularly interesting or competitive. I guess we also, we played against Mono Red and got mana screwed, and that's a pretty off-mana deck, so maybe we just shouldn't count it. Probably just shouldn't count it. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna put on the table. I would believe the people that tell me from some very top upper echelon of players, having a high refresh rate monitor is valuable in video games. But if you're telling me Joe Idiot playing Valorant at home, or whatever fighting game people play at home on their PC, is going to see an increase in their ability to play the game having a higher refresh rate monitor, right? Like, it'd be a refresh rate to, I don't know, my monitor's like 4 years old and getting ready to get thrown in the garbage can. Let me Google the current monitor I have. HP ZR2740W. I have this giant honking monitor of a thing in the center of my desk. Honestly, I have all my lands. Looks like they're playing blue-black control. I'm just gonna go ahead and hold the Mazemind to draw with. Oh, they're playing rogues actually. Okay. Sixty hertz is what it says. It says 1440 at 60 hertz. How old is this thing? Does anybody have the? I don't think it lists when the product came out. No, I already spent money on a monitor. Listen, chat. As someone who recently spent extra money to get a nicer TV and then turned off the features that make the people look more realistic on the TV because they were stupid and made the picture look weird, you can't con me into also spending extra money on a monitor that's gonna do something stupid that I don't actually need. And I just end up buying. How many hertz does it have? Oh, it does say 165 hertz. All right, look at that. The cheapest monitor out there, it was 165 HZ. So I'll give my feedback on whether or not it actually looks like. Wait, is this the wrong thing? Did I order the wrong thing? No, that's not the link that I ordered. I clicked the wrong thing. All right, this says 144. Even just moving your mouse around. I will be very surprised if it's a meaningful difference. The only reason I'm replacing my current monitor is because it's physically dying. If it wasn't physically dying, I wouldn't be bothering. Hey, Dorian, thanks for the 25 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And just lucky, I think I missed yours a few minutes ago. Thanks for the 26. Go ahead and kill this now. Yeah, I think I would challenge the idea that it makes you better at the games you play way more so than I would challenge the idea that you can't see it. Like, the idea that you can see the difference probably isn't unreasonable. The idea that, like, it makes you a more competitive gamer sounds very silly, though. Sounds like some pseudoscience nonsense. I'm gonna lead on this to see if we can get him with the bait. I did get a curved monitor though, because the internet claims that curved screens help with eye strain. And as an old man, I have a vested interest in reducing eye strain. So the price is the same, Thomas, but you can't buy $100 in coins on mobile. Because the discount that they give you for getting $100 in coins cuts into their profits too much. Unless they change that. Last time I looked on mobile, you couldn't buy $100 in coins at the same time. I'm gonna take this hit here, and Borrower plus Dragon plus Heartless Act on offense here should be good. That's probably fine to keep on top. I got praised in my performance review yesterday for my ability to help the team learn difficult new technology. It was Google Maps and Google Drive. It's funny. Alright, so they're not quite dead here, but they are getting mostly dead. Yeah, that's the word I hadn't mentioned. People saying it really had a meaningful difference in their gameplay. Like, very, very strong, this is probably a placebo effect vibes there. Would be my expectation / feedback on... No, I don't want them to be able to block two things, Grix. I don't care if they trade for the dragon, I want them to take the most damage that turn. I wanna end the game. Yeah, he did a blind study on refresh rates. Okay, he did a blind study. Now, what's the sample size of that study? How big were your groups? Because I bet they weren't in statistically significant ranges by even a little bit. Three to four people, sure, yeah. Since I felt better after upgrading to a new monitor, not realizing I didn't enable greater than 60 Hz in Windows at first, I can confirm your placebo statement. Yeah, basically, Thomas, as someone who spends money on the games that I play, basically anytime I put money into any of these freemium mobile games, I always spend the most amount of money because I know at some point over my lifespan, like even Pokemon Go is a good example. I don't spend a ton of money on actual in-game items at Pokemon Go at any point, but if I put money in, I put the $100 in because I want the biggest discount. I want the best package to stuff ratio. Why'd they mill me before my scry? Because they made a sequencing mistake. Ruin, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, what if I want to become a pro CS gamer? Hey, you laugh at me. I played a lot of Counter-Strike Source growing up. Probably. Does Steam tell me? Can I search on Steam? I wonder if it was still counting back then. Oh yeah, there's no way this counted hours. Steam says I only have 106 hours on Counter-Strike Source. That's a lie. We played Counter-Strike Source back before Steam was counting how many hours you were playing video games, chat. Back in my day, you just guesstimated how many hours you had. The video games didn't track it. Yeah, we modded the crap out of Counter-Strike Source. It was actually how I got into doing software stuff. Was rating Counter-Strike Source modifications. So my friend group played 1.5 Lucos because you could steal. I mean, get a copy pirated, get for free. I mean, you would never take software that you didn't pay money for 1.5, but you couldn't get 1.6 for free because it was appropriately locked to Steam. And then by the time we had money to actually pay for our video games, Counter-Strike Source was the standard. So my friend group went from playing 1.5 to playing Source. Think I'm Shatterskull Smashing here. I think we're just passing. We'll hold up Dispute / cycle Shark Typhoon to trade for the Windrobber. CS 1.5 was stored on my middle school computer lab shared drive along with a bunch of movies and a cracked copy of Minecraft. How old is Minecraft? When does that one date back to at this point? I'm gonna try and make a 1-1 here. I appreciate the commitment to Twitch chat right now. I asked a question on when the game released and got 3 different answers. Never changed Twitch chat. I agree with the people saying it depends on what you mean by being out. I would consider a game, I consider a game released when you can spend money on it. Lots of different companies will give you lots of different answers as to whether their game's in beta or not. But your game is no longer in beta when you take people's money for it. Especially these freemium games. It's super arbitrary when a game is in beta versus not. The easiest way is when do they start taking people's money? That's when they think their product's ready. All right, and this is a great truck. Gee, chat, are we about to beat rogues? I never beat rogues when we're playing sweet decks. Maybe this deck is great and worth playing. We're gonna beat rogues, chat. Get that. 2 owed the Rogues player? That's sick. This doesn't even do it because I get to Brazen Borrower bounce it. They're conceding because they know about it. Yeah, let's keep playing games. Let's keep playing games. We lost to Mono Red Sphere, Mana Screw, then we lost to a Bant Brew that I'm not really gonna think much about. I mean, to be fair, basically all of the mythics and rares in this deck are just like super playable cards. So, like, it's not like you're really going to be out much if you craft this deck and it ends up not being good. Like, every card you're crafting in this deck, you'll probably use somewhere else. So I think, like, from a security of crafting standpoint, honestly, the worst crafts in the deck are probably the temples at this point, because those are going to rotate out of standard here soon, right? Or did temples get reprinted? No, they were... These are going to rotate in the fall, right? I don't ever need, like, second red in this deck, right? The first time I'm finding Minecraft would take your money was late 2009. Sure. Okay, so that's like 14. It's like 12 years at this point. What is time, anyways? 12 times the charm. Tony Goodburger. Thank you for the entire year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Justin, thank you for the 2.5 years. Good morning, good morning. But, like, what if we didn't? Scry at least once here, I think. They see 15 months, Chuki. Magic sets are legal from 24 to 15 months. Is the range. I'm gonna shock this in, so this way I could draw with this and hit, not that. I was thinking hit the, gosh, do they have to kill my Bonecrusher Giant here? Otherwise it's killing them? Yeah, I think they do. How bad is this deck at a scale of Grixis 10? We 2-0'd blue-black rogues. It has my heart. Anything that lets me not die in a giant blaze to blue-black rogues will have a special place. Was that a good draw? If so, why? Please explain. You submitted Valki Fart combo for the KHM Championships. How aggressive is your build, Brandon? Would be my number one question. You playing 4 mana Nickies, or are you more controlling? I guess you could wait to say. Those deck lists will be public soon, right? It's Arcanist with 4 Valkis and 2 wins. That sounds great. I think that sounds really smart. That sounds super, super smart. I think I'm just gonna draw an extra card with this. Well, you don't play Release the Winds explicitly with Arcanist to work with Arcanist. You play it, they're just explaining that they're playing an Arcanist shell. It's like they said Arcanist, and I know what deck they're talking about. Is the goal of that. Maybe I shouldn't have tapped off the blue, because now I can't bounce and cast Borrower. Yeah, what avocado? There's not a synergy between Arcanist and Release. It's just an archetype that can benefit from a Valki. Why not Valki the Planeswalker? Because if they cast Emergent Ultimatum this turn, I get got if I don't have interaction up. Whereas if I leave Brazen Borrower up, I can, like, give them a Vornclicks and bounce it before it doubles counters on anything. I should have left up the extra blue to be able to cast Borrower after I bounce something, though. So that was definitely a mistake.
When Coldheim burns, remember that I lit the flame. Make no mistake, I'm not.
I feel like that being their best play this turn has got to be good for us. Just send this back from whence it came. Sure. There is a pause there. I wonder if they have what's that called? A Mystic Dispute? Dispute could save them. They could also just be playing on full control. It's dead. Like I want some amount of Heartless Act. True. I have Brazen Borrower to temper their stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna split the difference here. I don't think I want to draw a bunch of Tybalts in this matchup. Oh, that's a good observation. Yeah, Valki you could technically activate for any amount of mana, right? That's a good catch. Grixis confirmed busted, chat. Honestly, thinking about how our deck's been playing out, I don't even know that I really like Valki in here. I like the black removal, giving us access to be able to kill bigger things, but the Valkis have been kind of whatever. Flip those, put the third Valki in the sideboard. Valki's probably fine against, like, what's the word I'm searching for? Against, like, adventures or their mid-range decks. What's going on, Suda? Thanks for the 26. Yeah, and part of the problem with Valki is that, like, it explicitly, like, the big control deck in this format is a combo control deck, right? So the fact that the big control deck's a combo control deck means that you don't really have time to tap out for a 7-mana piece of card advantage. Yeah, Ashiok's just not really a playable Magic card. It doesn't do the types of things you're looking to do. Ashiok's +1 not being real card advantage is the... When 5-mana Planeswalkers end up playable, their +1 needs to be real card advantage. And Ashiok is just not that. Oh, huh. Punished for playing that out proactively. Yeah, and like, not only that, but like, Ashiok's +1 isn't card advantage, and Ashiok's minus isn't really removal, and the ultimate doesn't actually win the game outright, like you frequently expect from that style of Planeswalker. Untapped land, untapped land. Boom. Oh, I didn't play second red. This is a mistake to play a second black. I don't just need untapped land. I need explicitly a red source. That was a mistake when I played this. Nailed it. Never didn't have it. Easy game, chat. I think we're supposed to cycle this Shark Typhoon because of the possibility of another Conqueror's Death here. So be X's 5. Top's a little scary. Draw. Wonder why they didn't block with the walls there. Because of psychology. I elected not to attack earlier. I elected not to attack earlier when I didn't have mana up, and then I attacked when I did have mana up, which meant that they were worried about me stomping it, I guess. But I agree with you, they probably should have blocked. Bonecrusher seems pretty mediocre here, huh? I guess it kills Skyclave, but Skyclave's not even that good against me, huh? If I'm expecting them to have a bunch of Skyclaves, do I cut these Mazemind Tomes? Mazemind Tome's kind of a liability if they're on Skyclaves, right? Yeah, the 4-3 pressure's fine. Not good, but fine. Ooh, that's a good catch, Beck. And lethal with the dragons. The dragon's letting me cast double removal. Thanks for pointing that out. Right, Trey, and a green Drew. Thanks for the follows, by the way, if you're still here. Welcome to the channel this morning. Can I explain why it worked for Tucker Carlson? I can't, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not gonna pretend to be. I would assume part of the answer to that is our legal system is deeply corrupt and broken, is part of it. Look at this now while they're tapped out. Yeah, Tucker Carlson is rich, white, and male. It's definitely part of it. Ooh, that's a good one they can sneak through here. I wasn't thinking about. I was thinking, oh, I can Mystic Dispute or negate anything, but they showed us this last game. Yeah, this honestly might be the death of us here. I believe the answer is related to something along the lines, too, of just because Fox News calls itself a news station doesn't mean it has to be truthful in the things that it says. They're not obligated to make sure that they're telling you the truth. That's a nice one. This is likely I saw it coming. Sure. So, I think I'm shocking this in, and then playing to like make a shark. Honestly, it might have been right to dispute this just to like use my mana. Brazen Borrower? Sure. Got me. We played the opponent's deck a little bit on stream. It's very cute. Banish into Fable ended up being pretty bad by the end of it, but it's fine in general. Okay, so this is a Doom Scar then, right? Based on that auto pass there. If it was a glimpse to whatever or anything else, it would have given them priority there. Got me. Four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is mana number 10. So if I do X is 5 here, or X is 3, sorry, the total cost is 5. So I could do this, and then I can play Ox. Ox looking pretty good at grinding here. Hey, what's going on, Patreon? Good morning. I think I'd rather keep the shark actually, because then this can't get like Elspeth Conquered Death. Ha, you know what? Foretell is kinda gas with the Ox, huh? I wasn't even thinking about that. It's kinda sweet. I think this is worth countering. Yeah, and Ox is like, this card's drawn us 9 cards, chat. Confirm Doomscar.
Make no mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, alright, good. Excellent. This deck's probably pretty reasonable, Pixable. Remember, a lot of times when we make fun of Grixis, it's in non-rotating formats like Historic. In formats like Standard, it's much more easy and reasonable to be something of an answer deck. Yeah, we're back to doing some Standard. I'm gonna try and do like one Standard deck a day, I think. One Standard, 2 Historic seems to be a good split. The Historic content tends to be a little bit more popular than Standard on average, but I also, if I upload too much Historic, there's, they all get a little bit less views, so I'm trying to balance it out a little. So, we're on the draw. We need a second land, but I've got a Scry land, and if I hit a second land, the Mazemind Tome should hopefully find us lands after that. Swing and a miss. Nailed it. Is Yargle in Standard? He is not. This is a Dominaria card. I think I need to interact with them this turn. Okay, do I Heartless Act the Innkeeper or do I negate the Giant? I think I'm supposed to negate the Giant. And if they didn't stomp us there, I think we'd Heartless Act the Innkeeper. Obviously, we get in a little bit of trouble if they have another one, another adventure creature here. They don't. Okay, sweet. And now I get to do this. That sounds great. Yeah, so negating's a 2-for-1, but it gives them a chance to 2-for-1 us back, basically, because if they have, like, another Bonecrusher Giant, they could play it and draw a card. So, like, there's some risk to reward there to balance. And our hand's very good if we can draw some more lands. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. So the difference in Heartless Acting on end of turn versus the opponent's upkeep. When your opponent has mana available on your turn, you want to play your instant during their upkeep, because doing it on their upkeep means if they have a counterspell, like say a Mystic Dispute, if they use that counterspell to protect their threat, they're not going to get to untap their lands and have their mana again on their turn. And you want to do it on their upkeep because that gives them one less chance to draw that counterspell off of their deck. So by not doing it on your turn, you kind of protect your mana a little bit, or you kind of burn their mana a little bit. Hey, thanks for the 9 months, Gunmetal. I think we're doing this. It's a little annoying that they're going to get to Great Henge off of my Goldspan Dragon. But it is what it is. This gives them double green. The treasure. Yeah, Cronin War is a card that's been seeing plenty of play in the format. They could be the Luca deck too. Yeah, that would explain the main deck of Cronin War. Being killed at with intervention? You mean I can take it with Valki? Exhibit number 675, why Koma is not a standard playable card? Listen, chat, I love this card. I spent a lot of time trying to make Koma work at the start of the season. It is not a playable card in this format. Every deck that you would want Koma to be good against has lots of answers that they're playing to Koma that just happen to be there. You're not even playing them because you care about Koma. You just like happen to be playing them because they're good cards anyways. Like our deck, we're not thinking about Koma at all. I have Erebos' interventions and Valky's. Even Heartless Act, but at end of turn when it makes a counter, just like kills it, right? Before it makes a snake token. Yeah. The emblem doesn't give them priority because of Tybalt's wording. What? What are you talking about with priority? Oh, you're saying they don't have a chance to, like, tap Valki and disable his abilities? No. No, the emblem is a replacement effect as it enters the battlefield. This probably actually isn't, and I guess this kills, Innkeeper cheaply, which is nice. Even Brazen Borrower is just really good against Koma, tempoing it to hell and back. It's like spend 5 mana to do their thing, or 7 mana to do their thing. You're like, all right, 2 mana, send it back, attack you. Yes, Valki likely wouldn't be playable if you could respond to his emblem being created with like a removal spell. Yeah, seems pretty good. A replacement effect means instead of one thing happening, this other thing happens instead. You're replacing one instance of something with another. It's weird technical jargon in the instance of something like Tibalt, because Tibalt is what we refer to as a replacement effect as it enters the battlefield. And that's kind of annoyingly non-specific, because what's technically happening is you're replacing just entering the battlefield with entering the battlefield plus doing this other thing. So it's technically being replaced, but it's kind of being replaced by the same thing plus another thing is the complicated. So like a really easy example of a replacement effect is Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace says if something would go to the graveyard, instead exile it. It's replacing something going to the graveyard with going to exile instead. Hey, RPG Fun, thank you for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Well, you know, I didn't board around a Cronin War, and I probably should have. Probably should have boarded in more counterspells because of a Cronin War. Card's real good. It's possible I should have stomped this at my end of turn, but I also don't really want them to be able to play Inkska's Chariot this turn if I tapped out. So I think the risk of this running into a counterspell here is fine because I have Shark Typhoon and this coming up. Yikes. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Why did they bring in Wilt against me? Oh, Mazemind Tome. You showed the Mazemind. I guess the fact that the cycle means a pretty low opportunity cost to bring in. Oh, Shark Typhoon 2. Sure, this is technically an enchantment. I just want to leave myself as much flexibility as possible. Relocate in terms of what we're deploying. Yeah, there be dragons. I feel like I'm not jamming yet. Okay, and now I think I let this happen, and I just plan to flash in a borrower to block their borrower, and then that hopefully opens a window for me to stick my Goldspan next turn. If Stomp here, that's bad for us. You gotta fight over this, I think. Otherwise, it adds more pressure to the table, too. Decent draw. Could have Disdainful Stroke here. Hopefully be a card they're sitting on. Yeah, makes sense. Ideally, I don't want to Heartless Act this, because I want to save Heartless Act for Koma. Because they play a number of copies of that, and they can just cast it for 7 mana.
The world, whether Ikoria is ready or not. I can do better than you.
This is another Koma next turn's the problem, though. So they're playing, 3 is their most expensive thing after underneath Koma. So if they Luca any of their 3s, they guaranteed turn into a Koma. Is what their deck is doing. Yeah, well, their deck's explicitly not Lucaing tokens. Their deck's explicitly looking to Luca 3-drops into Komas, basically. All right, we need a Valki or a Glimmer. We need some gas, chat. All right, probably dead. That'll do it. Turns out drawing half as many lands is good. I don't think I have any changes to my board plan here. Just want to like draw a little bit more card advantage. Maybe I want this extra negate because of their adventure idiots and what's it called? Maybe I don't want this Erebos intervention on the draw. I don't think this is an Ox matchup though. Yeah, this deck's fine. Look to numbers. It's basically like the blue-red flash deck, but with hard removal and Valki at the top end. It's got a core of very reasonable cards. Remember, this is standard too, right? Like, something again that I mentioned a couple times so far today is that, like, when we make fun of Grixis it's often in non-rotating formats, which is an important distinction because it's harder to be an answer deck in deeper card pools. My second red. I'm bottoming the Negate here. Heartless Act is lovely. Morning, Quintivus. Yeah, bottoming the Negate was probably wrong. Having that to protect Goldspan next turn would be great. MTG and Comics, thanks for the follow. Yeah. It's a draw. Sufficient to get out of their hand? Sure. Thinking about stomping their own thing again? Sure. This technically trades their stomps for my Giants. Heartless Act sounds lovely. Got a bunch of threats here I need to take care of. I could have Stroke here, but just jamming. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. The worst part is flooding when you can't even flood on... You have like a bunch of utility lands in your deck and you just don't hit any of them while you're flooding. Yeah, like not only have we drawn just mono lands, but none of them have been Shatterskull Smashing. This is where the magic happens. Not really a whole lot you can do there about losses like that. Those are just part of magic. Sometimes you just flood out and die. I did scry. You're right. I did scry a land to the bottom, and then I drew more lands. You are correct. So I'm not saying I wanted to draw Shatterskull Smashing. I'm saying that I drew lands and the lands I drew weren't Shatterskull Smashing. So Shatterskull Smashing was much worse than the average spell I could draw, which is why I put it on the bottom of my deck. So I was hoping to draw spells. This was not a particularly good one at the time when we bottomed it. Much worse than the average draw in the deck. Alright, I'm going to rematch against Mono right here to close things out for this set. See if we can have a better shot here when we draw some lands. Hey, Virtual Realism. Thank you for the 14 months. Appreciate that. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Well, thankfully our opponent's flooding off of our decks. We've got that going for us. I actually just do this, right? Just drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Huh? I feel like I'm supposed to behold here to dig for a Heartless Act or another Brazen Borrower. We're dead. I don't think we could afford to miss there. Get like stomped at end of turn here. Oh. And some cheaper removal. Got our expensive card advantage at the top end. The eerie silence of the waiting for your match to start screen. The body Valki provides me better than Negate, maybe? No. I know it's very easy to be a member of Twitch chat and pigeonhole on the fact that I drew 3 Negates in that last game and, like, think that, like, Negate's not good in this matchup, but, like, Negate's fine in this matchup. Do you want to draw 3 of them when they have Torbrand on the table? No, obviously you don't, but, like, in general, Negate is reasonable. I'm impressed you had a mask mandate at all, Dietzel. You have a Republican governor, right? Bonecrusher's great here. Kill something, allows us to apply a little bit of pressure on the back. The Mazemind Tome is going to kind of let us tie up one of their pieces of mana here, which is great. Once this gets higher, they're going to like have to hold up a gonna have to constantly hold up a mana. I'm gonna draw a card here. This might be a little on the greedy side. Kill this before they get to attack, so that way they can't, so that way they can't cleave me. But stop on my upkeep here. If we don't see a land on top of our deck, we'll probably scry again. It just depends on what they do with their mana here too, though. Not into Negate at this point. Kill this in response to this trigger. Gain some life here while they're tapped out. Get another scry in. Yeah, I think I'm in for a 5th land, right? I'll pull up the MTG Arena weekly update here on screen after we finish this deck. It's going to be the last match with it. I'll take a peek at it together for people that want to hang out and get my thoughts on it. My friend. Now, Torbrand is a little bit scary because he breaks the symmetry on Roiling Vortex, right? So it makes the Vortex deal 3 to me while still only dealing 1 to them. This feels good for me. Let's have another mountain. If they go Mountain Torbran, we're probably in a little trouble. And just Rimrock is great for us. I'm afraid of running this into a counterspell, it seems like. So I assume they're just going to jam this since I tapped out. Really? Okay. I think the people wanting Path and Bolt and Historic are very silly. You people should just go play Legacy or Modern. Yeah, Demonic Tutor too, like, you can already Grim Tutor for your Yargles, chat. You don't need Demonic Tutor for your Yargles too. Grim Tutor for Yargles already borderline too strong. You can't put Demonic Tutor into the format. This is probably a mulligan, right? We're on the draw and we don't have any of our 2-mana removal. This doesn't really count as removal. Yeah, this is much more reasonable. I'd be a touch greedy and bottom a land tier with the Scry. Now the downside to the Scry is that we're on the draw and my opponent is playing a Bernie Sanders deck, so we could just get got by that. Honestly, the fact that they're playing Bernie Sanders could mean that it's right to bottom this. Nice, we didn't get Bernied. You love to see it, chat. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and stomp on this. That way they can't stomp on it in response to kill my Bonecrusher. It's just Grixis good stuff. Yeah, basically. Think of it, it's like the blue-red flash deck that's popular for a little bit, splashing black. Yeah, Bernie, sorry, for people that are new to the channel, Bernie Sanders is robber of the rich. I should explain that. We got an answer to Torbran. Hoping to spike a land next turn. Nice, nice. Let's go into the bottom. Nah, Winota's the joiner of forces. She's a uniter. Don't compare her. Don't compare her to the big orange bigot. I'm gonna kill this now, so that way they can't cleave me. Tiny bones. Are they firing up Faceless Haven here? I felt like they thought about it. I felt like they were thinking about it there for a second. Dragonfire sounds great. Just kill this now before they can stop me in response. This could be wrong. It might be right to play. Oh yeah, there you go. I forgot. I always forget Maga's a card. Maga traitor to mortals is 100% Donald Trump's card. I always forget about that one. Alright, so we're just like playing our own Bone Daddy and then dragon firing something, right? There's a joke in Scandinavia that we can't wait for COVID to be over so we can all go back to our normal 12-foot social distancing. Kind of scary. We had a pretty good start, but opponent like Bonecrusher Giant random us out here a little bit. Oh, Faceless Haven enables them to cast that still. Scary. Yikes. Okay, there's a Heartless Act. Alright, so Bonecrusher Giant of our own is the best possible draw here. Because it stomps this, then blocks this. And obviously we could brick and die. That doesn't do it, right? Cannot block Bone Daddy. Those games. Definitely feels like a matchup that's very die roll dependent. And Magic has a lot of those where you'll be favored on the draw and you'll be favored on the play and be behind on the draw. Keeping up when they've got better tempo than you is tough. I don't know. This seems fine. What are my final thoughts? What are some closing thoughts on this? I don't know that Valki was actually all that good. Like we said, I feel like having access to black removal felt pretty reasonable. Like Heartless Act being able to kill things like Lovestruck Beast and Koma definitely feels like an upside from being just the straight blue-red flash deck. But I feel like Valki in Standard is kind of clunky. The premier control deck in this format being a combo control deck in Sultai Ultimatum makes it challenging to find windows to play this card. So I feel like if I were, how would I want to slide some of this stuff around? I feel like I would put like 2 Valkis in the sideboard and then maybe like go up a Shark Typhoon and a removal spell in the main deck, or like a Shark Typhoon and a Saw It Coming. Like take a peek, like maybe the second Erebos' intervention in the main could be fine. That hedges mono red a little bit, but you can never have too much respect for mono red. Maybe something like this, I think, would seem pretty reasonable. All right, let's take a peek at the state of the game, and then we're gonna